put one house without a. Big difference. Yeah, I know. I remember. I said, hey, it was probably like 65. 65. My brother, we drove by. Yes.
My gosh, you're too funny. That is funny. Classic.
No. What do you mean? My brother did that too.
How's the fruit? Good? All good?
Good.
Good.
Really good. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Guys were ahead of time for us. Bob and I are both
What? How are you?
gonna get up.
Come on
Few
in.
just for 10, 5 and 10, to go downstairs and get us set up for this other thing. Yeah.
No, I totally get it. Just appreciative that you're here. I have, make your own yogurt parfaits and bagels with butter. Piece of cover stuff. Very welcome. And I'm gonna pass you guys. It's not official, but you guys could do a sign-in sheet for me.
Candy then.
There you go. Thank you. People love the yogurt, or yogurt, you know, allows fruit. It's healthy stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then you can put the free bagel in. Yes, I think it's you salsa pizza too. You're like, oh, free. And my son says a lot of it's free, so I just have to know it and I'll come with it. I told you, it's good for you. No, it starts at 9:30. How many times did I advertise this class at the time? And now, you, text, email, you name it, I did it. And now, he's like, oh, 10, right? I'm like, no, 30. That's what it is. Heard. Hey, I'm good.
Nice to see
Good
you.
morning. Good morning. Oh my goodness. I'm excited to be here for this. Oh, yeah. So excited. I'm good. How are you?
going up to. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. As, every single year, been on fence. I always have to go through this phase of, I don't want to do. So. I think this year, be very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, should be good. That's the address. So you can see the C. Tomorrow. Yeah. Down the street. Next week is the whole. I think this time. Yeah, they're doing the whole thing. There, and I got a bunch. That's your one. That first time. As we switch over schools. Not sure what it is. Good morning, good morning. Yeah. Morning. Morning. Hello there.
How are you?
How you doing?
Good, thanks. I remembered to make it. Why aren't you eating? You're always eating.
I already did.
Oh.
I did. I just finished my second
Hey,
breakfast.
which person? Which one? Struck mine. See if you remember right. Struck mine.
Yes, go.
Everybody sign in. There's plenty of food over here. There's gluten-free options. And we're gonna start 2 minutes. Sign-in sheets going around, but this is a fresh fruit, granola, Greek yogurt. And this is
What basically is what we want.
couple minutes, we're just gonna start.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're working on realtor time.
Yeah.
They want us here by 10:30 because I think there's something else going on, or I don't know. Is there something else going on here at 10:30 in this room? It opens at 11.
That's a good name for it.
Oh, it's an open call, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna wait 5 more minutes.
It's beautiful out there, isn't it? It's so it's
Oh, we deserved it after last week.
Those poor Floridians, I couldn't even imagine.
Oh, God, now I'm getting hit.
They like to be there right now. Where do you go? You can't go. It's already screwed up. It has. We were fine, no, we were absolutely fine. Now our swim, we were not far from Buddha, we got hit pretty good. And I was just at the building 3 weeks ago, that beautiful mansion in Asheville. They say that whole
That's a shame, I've been there 7 times.
amazing, isn't it? What an amazing property. I don't have seen anything about the damage to it.
Yeah.
but
And even.
David, when you guys have to leave?
That's it.
When do you have to leave?
You have to get these signed on by 10 o'clock. You know, how many people. Some things are just better suited.
Get your gluten-free stuff.
I did.
How are the baby plan for having the babies? Okay, let me know this. It's and the granola here this out. The granola is good.
Oh, it is?
It is.
Thank
It
you.
is, it is. I put a sign for the bigger bullshit. So, it's just good stuff. It's organic too. Organic granola, gluten-free. After the salsa. Okay. Robert, come on. Plenty of food. You make your own yogurt parfait,
Excellent.
fruit, pickles, and gluten-free bagels. With butter and cream cheese. Okay, enough stuff. We're gonna start in a couple minutes. And latecomers come, they come.
Morning.
Orange shirt.
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Good,
I think we're recording.
You want to be? You don't want.
I think it's supposed to be. I just can't see if it is. How do you know if it's recording?
Look at them and ask. Oh, there's the sign. There's the recording. Oh, yeah, right next to the green dot.
Okay.
Yes, it is recording.
Can you hear me?
Pardon?
Touch something here.
That's
Hit screen. It's Maria. I'm coming up in front of the screen to make sure. Can you see me?
What am I saying? Yes.
Oh, there's 15 participants on here. Wow.
I'm sorry, I had my headset out.
Oh, we have a lot of people hybrid, which
Yep.
they can watch, but they can't participate, right, Matthew?
Right, I can hear you now.
Ah, man. Yeah, I think I made the mistake of giving the option of hybrid when you're supposed to be here in person. But people had asked me, that's all right. We still got people here, and whatever you guys can see online is great, but it is an interactive class. So we'll see what Matt can do. Matthew, do you want to come on in? We're just going to get started. So we have our participants here. Everybody get the sign-in sheet? All right, so Matthew's here. What would you say your title is?
Matthew Girk, creator of the Memory Switch program.
Okay, so creator of the Memory Switch. So I had Matt here a couple years ago at another office, and it was so fun. And I don't want to give too much away when it comes to what he's going to do, but he's going to teach you some skills, some simple skills, and teach you just how to switch that brain. And it's going to help you on a personal level, and it's going to help you on a business level. So I'm just going to hand it over to Matt now, and you can do your thing, and you have your microphone on, right?
I do.
So if you can try
Mhm.
your best to look up there
I
sometimes
don't
because
care
people,
about those people. They did not come. Yeah.
I don't know how to do the chat, but so someone's gonna have to help me with that. Okay, I'll leave it up to you, Matt. All right,
Terrific.
thank you so much.
Hey, good morning, everyone. How are you? Come on, they brought bagel. How you doing, everybody? Right? Yeah. Listen, I had a chance. to meet all
Morning.
of you. And
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Yeah, my name's Matt Girk. I have a company called Great Memories, a program called a Memory Switch. What I do is travel throughout the country, teaching individuals like yourselves how to develop an instant recall memory. And this is for facts and information that are important and pertinent to the specific situations and circumstances you guys find yourself in each day. In fact, let me encourage you over the next couple of minutes to be thinking of instances where a better memory, a more powerful memory would be of help to you. Right? Names and faces, clients, contacts, people you meet in your personal life, details for work, procedures you're expected to go through, information about the products that you sell, the service that you offer, critical information like, where you parked your car, left your glasses, becoming increasingly important. Those of you who are furthering your education anyway, listen, Keller Williams is all about continuing education. So the things you learn when you attend classes, go to seminars, or involved with training, any instance at all where a better memory, a more powerful memory would be of help to you. What I handed out to you guys was a little play sheet. It's for a couple different purposes. One, going to be sharing some pretty neat facts and statistics with you. It'll give you a place to jot some things down. We're going to be doing some demonstrations, some actual training. As you can see on the top, there's room for your name. If you've forgotten your own name, you are definitely in the right spot here this morning. And for focus of today's meeting, what I'd like to write down is instant recall memory, instant recall memory. But what I want to do here this morning is actually start out with everybody's favorite subject. And what's everybody's favorite subject? Well, is that about cover it? Not unusual. Whenever I speak with a group, half a dozen different items will tend to show up over and over again. Food, family, money, sports. Some of you may be familiar, obviously, Melissa, with a book that was written a number of years ago called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Yes? Guy's #2 bestseller ever written. Second only to the Bible, which we think Bruce Carnegie wrote a fairly credible piece of work. Now, interesting for Carnegie, while doing research for his book, he discovered 2 very interesting facts. As it turns out, these are actually success secrets. I tell you what, I left room for you to jot them down if you'd like. First, Carnegie discovered that a person's favorite subject is really themselves. Your home, your family, your job, your move, your mortgage, your opinions, your future. That's what matters to people most. And what Carnegie realized is the more you know about a person, their likes and dislikes, the more you're able to recall about that person, the more likely you are to be friends with them, have influence with them, and listen, realtors, do business with them. Second thing, the person's own name is actually the sweetest sound in the English language to that person, right? Okay, commands instant attention, instant respect. Now, we discovered even more recently, the sound of your name, your heart rate will slow, your blood pressure goes down. Depending on who's saying it, right? But it's a very soothing sound. But I wonder how many of us here use that fact to our advantage by recalling and using the names of the people we deal with. In fact, let me ask you all a question honestly now. Show of hands, how many of you has this happened to at least once? You're at a meeting, a party, you meet someone. Person shakes your hand and gives you their name. As soon as the handshake breaks, name just drops right to the floor. Let's go. 2 hands. Do I see some feet? All right. 2 minutes after this individual has just given you their name changes. Well, what's it become? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Right? Good in a formal situation. At a party, maybe you got a favorite. Honey, sweetie, sugar, sport, chief, pal, buddy, captain, tiger, ace, boss, big guy, dude. I heard one last week, Skippy. And of course, I'm in Jersey, so you can pretty much get away with yo, right? And I think we've all been there when our spouse or one of our associates walks up to the person that we've been yes sirring for the last 10 minutes. Then you're stuck, aren't you? Can't make the intro. Man, I am so sorry, sir. What was your name again? That's an embarrassing situation. Now, take it a step further. We'll put it in a business context. Give you guys a classic. Turn the Island Giant. This person's walking towards you, and it's too late to duck. You know what I'm talking about? And all you're thinking is, they were at my open house 3 weeks ago. They are hot to trot. They need a place. They want to get the kids in school. They're staying in the area. It's an upgrade. Great piece of business. Already showed them a couple things. We have a meeting set up for next week, and you got to say, how you doing, sweetheart? Good to see you, because you can't remember their name. What impression did you just make on that client? One of 2 things. 1, you don't care, or 2, you don't know what you're doing. And what's the shame of that, everyone? It's not true. Of course you care. And and hopefully you know what you're doing. That'll show up eventually. But look, the argument for a good memory, especially in business, is this. Ultimately, the one way you have to show the people that you work with that you care about them and are concerned with them is by having information for them and about them where? at your mental fingertips. Ladies and gentlemen, there are very few cure-alls in life, very few. What I'm going to do right now is give you 2 quick suggestions on a better, more effective way to shake a hand and remember a name. Clients in my Memory Switch program are taught a 6-step approach. I'm going to share 2 of them with you here today, and the suggestion is this. If this is all you do, look, I'm talking 2 simple steps each time you meet a person. You're going to immediately find yourself in the top 15% of the population when it comes to shaking a hand and remembering a name. In fact, I'm going to preface that with this statistic. 85% of people will forget a person's name in the first 2 minutes. Are you feeling alone? You're not. Guys, effectively 9 out of 10, when that handshake breaks, the name's gone. And here's what we discovered. Doesn't happen an hour later, doesn't happen a week later. Generally happens right up front. So working towards leaving that particular situation, I'll make these 2 quick suggestions. Again, I left room for you to jot them down if you'd like, but by all means, take note. Serious business. If this is all you do, you're going to see an immediate and dramatic improvement. First, slow down, clear your mind and focus. Slow down, clear your mind and focus. Now, I know what you're thinking, right? Duh. Well, gosh, Matt, obviously the first thing you want to do when you meet a person for the first time is focus. And yet, generally, ladies and gentlemen, here's exactly where the disconnect occurs. Go something like this. Hey, my name is Matthew. Your name? Nice to meet you. Sugar. Shoot. Now, what's the perception here? A bad memory. 2 minutes, 2 seconds, I go to find the woman's name. Yet the reality is this. I didn't forget her name. See, when you're meeting a person for the first time, remembering the name is step 2. You know what I missed, everyone? Step 1. Never heard the name to begin with. You want to back this up, bubble over the head, what's really going on behind the scenes in this initial meeting? Maybe it looked a little bit more like this. Hey, my name is Matthew. Your name? Nice to meet you. What I really think it is, I wonder if those are readers or real glasses. You know what? I used to do the reader thing. I'd lose them all the time. They were always hanging off my neck. You know, I finally went to the glasses. I tried lenses, but that didn't work very well. Hope my breath is all right. So I hope her breath is all right. Okay. So everything in the world except what? Focusing on the name. If you're shaking hands thinking, I hope my hands aren't too sweaty, what do I say next to make a good first impression? What if this got to be a piece of business for me? You just missed step 1. You never heard the name. So that step 2, remembering the name is not even an option. And bless God, we're not ambushed, folks. People aren't spinning us around saying, hi, my name is. Learn it's a matter of here they come, or especially in your business, right? Here I go. That's the point at which you take 1 second, clear your mind, end the game. Let's go meet this person. Next thing I want to have you jot down is repeat, repeat, repeat. This works on 2 levels, ladies and gentlemen. First, neuromuscular memory. Our bodies have a memory for things we do repeatedly. One aspect of that memory I've looked at very carefully has to do with verbal memory. The physiology is very simple. As you speak, your vocal cords will vibrate. In fact, we can demonstrate that. Put a couple fingers alongside your throat. Just repeat after me. Say Jim Delaria. Say Dave Coulter. Say Kirsten Struckmeyer. Say Bob Hay. Say Natalia Lishka. Feel the vibration that occurs when you speak. As you speak, your vocal cords vibrate. Those vibrations will hit your hard palate and directly stimulate your mind and your memory. In other words, one way to begin to commit a piece of information to your memory, Lisa Gilmore, is simply to speak it. Now, there's decidedly a right way and a wrong way to do this. Let me demonstrate. Hey, my name is Matthew. Your name?
Bob.
Bobby, Bob. Yeah, that would be the wrong way. Just so we're clear on this. Probably not the best way to have better. My name is Matthew. Your name? Ed, what's your last name, Ed? McKeown. Ed, yeah, I understand you're a realtor. What company do you work with, Ed? They're big and bad. How long have you been with them, Ed? And you like what you're doing? Sometimes, yeah. Ed, market's kind of challenging these days. Oh, well, you're in the right spot to bridge that gap. Hey, Ed, nice to meet you. What did I do? Yeah, but no weirdness, right? Not Ed. Eddie, Ed, right? Just use the name in conversation. Understanding this much, if all we're talking about at this point is memory, I've got Ed's name down. I'm past the embarrassing first 2 minutes. I'm a 15%er. Probably not gonna have to call him tough guy anytime soon. But look, I did say it worked on a second level, interpersonally. What I allow Ed the opportunity to hear? Favorite sound. What I let him talk about? Favorite subject. Favorite sound, favorite subject in the first 30 seconds. Here's a statistic for your notes, realtors. Some of you may tell me you understand this, but let's talk about it for a second. First impressions in an initial meeting. Are you familiar with the statistic of when you begin to form a first impression in an initial meeting? 10 to 30 seconds, everyone. Listen to me. This is not theory. This is fact. 10 to 30 seconds is when that individual begins to decide, like, don't like, trust, don't trust. Well, let's take a look at that window of time. It's short. Someone walks to a place of business. I'm looking for Melissa. Melissa DePalia. Is she here? Yeah, Melissa's got an offer right now. Are you Melissa? Hey, Melissa McGurk. Like, don't like? Trust, don't trust. Yep, sit down, Melissa, too late. How about that, right? Yeah, you know, think about it. 10 to 30 seconds. What handshake, eye contact, first line of your mouth? That potential client contact, that buyer or seller has already begun to decide. You know, I like this woman. I think we're going to get along. Or else you notice they're looking over your shoulder. Can I tell you what they're probably thinking? Got to be somebody else here to talk to, right? Now, the impression's been made, good or bad, 10 to 30 seconds. You know how long it takes to change it? Same research, incidentally. 3 weeks, 21 days. Hey, what's 21 days in your business, KW? Yeah, you don't get 21 days. So here's the good news. Do what I suggest. Learn to make a good first impression in the first 10 to 30 seconds. You know what that will effectively give you? 3 weeks to screw it up. Yeah, come on, guys. If you make a bad impression, the suggestion is this. In a business as competitive as this one, there's every possibility you're simply never going to see that person again. So yeah, it's trite, it's cliche, but it couldn't be more true. One opportunity to make a first impression, 10 to 30 seconds. Here's a suggestion for you. Slow down, clear your mind and focus, and then repeat, repeat, repeat. It's about two things. One, grabbing a hold of a person's name. Any of you realtors looking for a competitive advantage in your business? Something that make you stand out a little bit? Yeah, well, I tell you what, it turns out shaking hands and remembering names is huge. You know why? Because 99 people out of 100 can't do it. If you're the one who can, people do notice you. But it's also about making a good and powerful first impression. A little background. I've been around about 30 years, guys. Memory techniques have been around for thousands of years. Since written records are kept, we have records of different memory techniques. Now, up until this point, they've all been rather difficult to learn and use. Look, you've read a book, maybe you've taken a course, taught a little basic word association, probably discovered what I did, kind of limited, kind of hard to apply. In fact, what's made my Memory Switch program the most utilized program of its kind ever developed is I've never based my technology on basic association. What I address instead is the main problem people have when it comes to memory. And that's really not the problem of forgetting. And I know I already said that. People are like, well, of course the problem is forgetting. But if I take you back to the example I gave you earlier, in the supermarket, can't remember the name, you fake it. They know you're faking it. You know you're faking it. You walk out totally embarrassed. My gosh, I know the guy. What does it matter with me? Why can't I remember the name? Here's the point. Get to your car, pop the trunk, start loading the groceries. What pops into your head? Robert Hoffman. The name just pops into your head. Point is this, did you forget the information in the first place? No, the problem you have was recalling the information when you needed it. And if you consider for a second how you treat your own memories each day, this is not a stretch. I mean, the analogy is a filing cabinet, right? Hundreds, thousands of different bits of information. But if you say, hey, Natalia, would you grab me the Jones file? Right to the cabinet, pulls out the Jones file. How come? She knows where to look. Oh, but what if I were to empty the cabinet out, mix the files all up? So I'm never going to throw them in. It's going to be a file pile. Well, some of you are familiar with that system already, maybe, right? Say, Yvette, would you grab the Jones file? What's Yvette thinking? Well, if you're on salary, no big deal, right, Yvette? Yeah. Same cabinet, same information, but suddenly it's an hour, it's a day, it's a week to find it because there's no organization or order any longer. And yet, look, you all need to consider for a second how you treat your own memories every single day. Just this morning, you turned on the radio, right? News, weather, traffic, sports, stay with family members. Where's everyone going? When's everyone coming home? Got to work. Dealt with associates at the office. Check your email, check your voicemail. Sat at a meeting, attended a class, went to seminars, newspapers, magazines, open house. All day long, what are we doing? Throwing information into the black void. Come on. The Grand Canyon, the black hole, the abyss, the big messy filing cabinet you call your memory, important or trivial, whether you know you need to recall it or not. Think about that. Client's name, some listing information or something you saw on a billboard, doesn't matter. Everything gets thrown in. The expectation is, you know, when I need it, it's just going to pop up and be there for me when we know that's not the case. What I develop, what I teach my clients, a mental file folder system, if you will. Areas of your memory where you can begin to place information, now listen, that you've decided is important and pertinent. Look, guys, I've always tried to be really very practical on my approach. In other words, here is something I know I need to recall. See, this is for a test I'm taking, a presentation I'm giving, right? My list of things to do, client information, product knowledge, a person's name. I don't want to just throw this in and hope. This gets placed in. That way I have instant access to it when I need it. I tell you what, we'll have some fun. We'll evaluate our own memories here today. Just go to the center section where it says, can you remember? And what I'm going to do real simple is this. Look, this is a small group, so we're going to have to do a little repeating. When I wait for me to call your name, when I do, give me a word, any word at all. Something in the room if you want, screen or water, doesn't make a difference, bagel, something that'll fit on the game card that you have in front of you. Then we're going to go back. We're going to see how well we can recall the information. Lisa, why don't we start with you? Bird. So for number one, I just want to write the word bird. And obviously we don't need to stay in the room. It's just kind of an example. And Robert? Cat. Okay. Cat. And Dave? Sky, okay. Guy, I didn't get a chance to meet you. Your name? Mark, what's word? Yeah. Car. We can even go to 2 syllables if you guys want. Car, Natalia? Lemon, okay, we've broken the syllable. Lemon. Jim? Timing, okay. And Kristen?
Revolution.
Revolution, okay. Revolution, Marie? KW, okay. And Bob? Dog, okay. Dog, Yvette? Okay, so we'll say keys, okay, yeah. Kirsten? Small group, yeah. Autumn, okay, yeah. Melissa? Asparagus, yeah. Asparagus, Ed? Steak, okay. Business, okay. And Jim? Storm, yeah. Now, not going to take a whole lot of time with this. Don't have a whole lot of time. Plus, I already know the results. You guys have had this piece of paper in front of you. You've had a chance to think about a word, write the word down, and look at the word. They ask you now, turn the list of words over. Say very simply, I need you to give me back the list of words that were just called out in the order in which they were called out. Yeah. Now, I know from experience, most of you are going to fall, guess where? The 15% range. You may want to jot this down, guys. It's important to understand personally and professionally. Average recall with an untrained memory. Average recall with an untrained memory is 15%. What you hear in a meeting, attend a class or a seminar for, reading a book, watch on television, conversation with a client. Oh, the sales or listing presentation you just did for your client. You guys need to understand, average person walks away with about 15% of that material actually available to them. After a week, anyone want to hazard a guess? 4 to 6, 4 to 6. So what kicks in here for an untrained memory is what we call the rule of primacy and recency. You know what that is? It's a fancy way of saying you got to remember the first one or the last one, the first 2 or the last 2, the one you gave and maybe the one that came right after it. But where I want to park here today is really the more important point. I ask you all right now to turn the list of words back over. Say, look, we don't got a whole lot of time. Got to give you 5, maybe 10 minutes. I need you to memorize the list. You have to memorize it. What are you going to do? Got to memorize. What are you going to do? Repeat it. Yeah. You know what you're going to do? You're going to do what you've always done. You're going to do what you started doing around about the age of 5 when Sister Aloysius or Miss McGillicuddy, I don't know where you were at, walked up and said, Kirsten, honey, here's what you need for the test. Go study. Go memorize that. Not Kirsten, here's the best way to study. Not Kirsten, come test time. If you want instant access to the answers, you should try this. Wouldn't that have been nice? Kirsten, go study. Kirsten goes, oh, Mommy, I'm supposed to study. What do I do? What's Mommy say? Shut up, Kirsten, go study. She didn't know what to tell you. So all of us figured about the age of 5 that studying and memorizing is one variation or another of the rote method, the cram method, the burn it into your brain method. Any of you guys got kids or grandkids going to school? Little experiment. Ask your child, understand there's a test tomorrow. Are you ready? What do they say? Well, I should be. I think so. I really study. Or my favorite, we'll see. Right? Now you guys are laughing, but a show of hands. How many of you agree with this statement? Use the same method to use your to pass your spelling test when you were 5 that you used to pass your real estate exam as an adult. You went down, you sat down with the material, you went over it and over it and over it, then you went in there hoping for the best. What I develop, what I teach my clients real simply, the ability to begin to take the information that you need, not throw it in your memory and hope but place it in your memory so you have instant access to it when you need it. Now look, I'm human, actually a little tired. I've been traveling quite a bit. If I make a mistake, whoever said the word, don't blurt it out. Okay, just hold up your hand. I'll go back. I'll see if I can recall. If you guys want to lift your papers up in front so you don't think you have extra vision or something, that's fine. But I think the list goes something like this. 1 is bird, 2 is cat, 3 is sky, 4 is car, 4 is car, 5 is lemon. Number 6 is timing, 7 is revolution, 8 is Keller Williams. Then number 9 was a dog, 10 is keys or lost keys, I don't know. Let's see, number 11 was autumn, 12 is asparagus, 13 steak, 14 is 14 was 14 was I know 15 was 14 was 15 oh, business and storm. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You know what? I got no problem with applause, but I tell you what. You see someone demonstrate a powerful ability the way I just did. You kind of do want to clap, don't you? How come? What's it look like? It looks impressive. It looks like magic, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Why does it look like magic? Because you can't do it. Yeah. You're getting your memory training, a little re-education. Let it be this. When you see someone demonstrate a powerful ability the way I just did, here's what you need to understand up front. I'm not magic special or gifted. I'm not a genius. You know what? I really wish I was. And I don't just have a great memory. I'm trained. As it turns out, recalling information, this is a very trainable skill. Now, the reason I stress not just a great memory is here's the statistic, and I think it's telling. When asked about memory, 9 out of 10 people will qualify their memory with a negative. 9 out of 10. Here's the point. You may be seated here today, the 1 out of 10 who thinks you have a good memory. In fact, you may think you've got a great memory, but the suggestion is this: you still couldn't do what I just did, even though you all had the opportunity to do 4 things. What were they? Thought about a word, wrote the words down, looked at them, and listened. I only had an opportunity to do 1 of those things, and what's that? Listen. So I'm not only using my memory, I'm actually using the weaker part of my memory, the things you hear as opposed to see. Agreed?
Yeah.
You do remember the face, right? Because you see it. Get the name because you only, yeah, I mean, the point is people aren't generally walking up saying, hey, remember your name, but what was your face again? Actually, I kind of focus in my program on remembering things that you hear. A couple of things about the list. If I'd written it down and looked at it, it would have been easier. Not necessarily written down, but things you can see are easier for you to remember. 15 words for demonstration purposes only. This works for any type of information. I deal with engineers, doctors, lawyers. It could be technical data, more abstract information. Actually, you guys are pretty nice to me. I always like to share about the time I showed up at Merck. Merck's a good client, so I'm going to have quite a bit. This group turned out to be a bunch of pharmacologists working on a diabetes drug. I said, Dr. Mitchell, give me a word, anything at all. Guy kind of looks up startled. He goes, thanatoast triglyceride. That was number 1. Okay. By the time Dr. Patel got to polypeptidyltrilene, I was ready to shoot myself. They gave me the biggest bunch of garbage you could possibly imagine, but the technology still applied. Oh, very important. 15 is where I stop for the demonstration. We can keep right on going. I think the most important thing about the list of people in this room, look, ladies and gentlemen, someone hands this to you and all of a sudden you know you're going to need to recall it. It's for a test you're taking, a presentation you're giving, your list of things to do, client information, a person's name. It's been over 30 years. I've trained hundreds of thousands of people. Incidentally, I'm blessed. I get to work in literally every industry at every level. You know why? Because everybody needs a better memory, right? How to take what you need, not throw it in and hope, but place it in your memory so you have so you have instant access to it when you need. Let's see, backwards the list we go storm, business, then we have a steak, asparagus, autumn. Let's see, it was keys, dog, Keller Williams, revolution. Let's see, revolution, timing. Number 5 is lemon, 4 is car, 3 is sky, 2 is cat, and number 1 was bird. Now, I see a quick show of hands. How many of you can see that there just might be an advantage and benefit to having a skill like this? Come on, guys. And when I teach the Memory Switch program, it's actually a 3-pronged approach to memory improvement. First, I developed a series of mental exercises, drills. I do games. I play little mental gymnastics, if you will, designed to begin to stimulate and exercise the portion of your brain where memory takes place. I don't get a lot into the science of it, but listen, everyone, a trained memory is an extremely powerful personal and professional skill. Most people are never shown how to use their memory. It's not taught. One of the downsides is obvious because people don't know how to use their memory. Guess what? They don't. Bottom line is that's what most of you call your memory, right? It's important you write it down. Say, hey, Jim, need you to remember something. Jim doesn't go, Yeah, go ahead, right? Jim says, yeah, hold on, writes it down, hopes he remembers where he wrote it. Now, 2024, you got your smartphones, your day timers, your Post-it notes. Ladies and gentlemen, your memory is a muscle, is an extremely neglected muscle. So exercises, drills, games we play, part of their basis, stimulate that area of your brain. It's called the hippocampus. It has to do with neurons and neurotransmitters. Look, we can strengthen it. We can get it back up to speed. Secondly, I teach memory techniques. They're called mnemonic devices. Mnemonic device, simply a way to get information into the short-term memory, long enough that it can become knowledge. Knowledge, according to Memory Switch, is permanent and accessible information. Permanent and accessible, like your name, how to tie your shoe, members of your family. I start with the very first one. That's where I'm going to begin with you here this morning. I take you through their history. Obviously, I'm working towards the more cutting edge techniques like the one I just demonstrated. And lastly, I deal with focus and activation. Quick show of hands. How many of you have ever read a page of a book or a magazine, realize after you're finished, you don't remember a single thing you just read? Now, here's the point. Did you forget what you read? Look, I'm going to be hitting on this for the rest of the program. Most of what you think you're forgetting day in and day out, listen, you never tried to remember in the first place. In other words, were you focused? Were you keyed in? Were you present for the information? Pay attention in any one of these three areas, you're going to see improvement in your ability. Put together in the format I've designed in Memory Switch, there does seem to be a synergistic effect. In other words, we are seeing a dramatic increase in people's recall capability. And I tell you what, I think you're all going to be very surprised and very pleased by how dramatically you can increase your own capability, even in the short period of time I had to spend with you here this morning. First thing I need to deal with, though, is without a doubt the biggest stumbling block that most of you have to memory improvement, and that would probably be your own perception of your memory. I mean, you showed up, right? So if you walk in here this morning, I say, how's your memory? It's lousy, rotten. What do you think I'm doing here? Well, it's good for some things, not good for others. It used to be really good. Now it's bad. Hey, I grew up in the 60s. Am I dating myself? Great until I had children. And we are looking into that one. There might be some truth. But overwhelmingly, the answers would have been extremely negative. Here's the point. How long have you been telling yourself you have a bad memory? Can't remember? Wait. Look, from this point on and forevermore, if anyone asks you, how's your memory? The answer is great. Understanding we may be faking it at least for the next couple of minutes. So how's your memory, everyone? Not buying it. How's your memory, everyone? Great. Come on, Keller Williams. How's your memory? I feel like I'm a Coldwell Banker here. Come on. All right. Well, you may not think so in a second because it's test time. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call out a list of words to you. Your job, any memory technique, gimmick, trick, or tool to recall the list as I call them out, short of writing them down. Pens and pencils down. Out of your hand down. Listen to me. Under your foot down if you must. Guys, the problem with your pen from a memory standpoint is pretty obvious, isn't it? The minute your fingers fill your pen, what did you just tell your memory? Take a break. Pick up your pen. All you need for your memory is just remember where you wrote it, stupid. Now, when you need your pen, I will let you know. Other than that, if you keep picking them up and bugging me, I will take them from you. Don't laugh. Got that in Denver last Thursday. Nice, huh? I'm going to call a list of words to you. Your job, any memory technique, gimmick, trick, or tool to recall this. Close your eyes, everyone. Look, as beginners, closing your eyes, it's just going to help you to focus and concentrate. It's not so I can make faces or scratch. Don't worry about what's going on up here. Everybody ready? Number one is tree. Number two is light switch. Then we have stool, car, glove, gun, dice, skate, cat, bowling ball, goalpost, eggs, witch, ring, and paycheck. Now, quickest way to do this, flip over the page you've been using, turn it over real quickly. I want you all to number down the page from 1 to 15, numbers down the page from 1 to 15. Once you've numbered down the page from 1 to 15, I want you to write test A above that. And then what I want to encourage you to do is write down the list of words I just called out in the order in which I called them out. Is anyone finished already? Do the best you can. The list of words I called out in the order in which I called them out. Don't hurt yourself. It's kind of early in the program. Keeping in mind that in memory training, as in most things, looking on your neighbor's paper is still considered cheating. So we'll do our own work here today. Just do the best you can, guys.
Don't say that. Stay positive, right?
I tell you what, for purpose of time, if you are truly and rightly done, put down your pen or pencil, look up in desperation. Okay, getting fairly desperate. We need to correct these. Exchange your paper with someone. Go ahead. They didn't do any better than you did. We're going to be working with partners at times. We're going to be working in small groups. Now, in order to correct these, What I'm going to do is I'm going to call out the list of words again. Your job in order to correct them, real simply, a check mark next to a correct word, only if it's next to the correct number. Just can't be floating all around the page. You understand? Now listen, do not scribble down words as we go along. Real simple. If you have a correct word next to a correct number, it gets a check mark. Other than that, you don't even need to put pen to paper. And by the look of things, this won't be real tough, okay? Everybody ready? Number 1 is tree. Number 2 is light switch. And we have stool, par, glove. Number 6 was gun. And we have dice, skate, cat. Number 10 was bowling ball. And we have goalpost, eggs. 13 was witch. 14 was ring. And 15 was paycheck. Now, ladies and gentlemen, memory training is not a spectator sport. I'm going to be asking you guys for a little bit of input here this morning. A couple of reasons why. One, getting a group dynamic going just makes the process more enjoyable. And at Keller Williams, that's never an issue. Also, I need you to begin to understand developing your memory properly, developing your memory as a skill, as a tool. That's a process. Why do I say that? Because the reality is you've utilized little memory techniques and gimmicks and tricks your whole life. Want to remember Mr. Abraham? I'll remember Abraham Lincoln. Want to remember the Great Lakes? Yeah, I'll take the first letter of each lake and I'll make a word out of it. Want to remember to bring your laptop with you? Hey, try this. Wear your watch on the opposite hand, right? That might remind you. We've all been exposed to this stuff. Developing your memory properly is a process. It's about understanding your own personal strengths and weaknesses, and all of you have them. It's about learning how to properly translate, file, and process information. At this point, it does help to know just a little bit about the new neuroscience, neurobiology that's been made available. Here's the point. We will all be working through this process together. As you're willing to share what's working for you, invariably, someone in the room is going to say, hey, I never would have thought of doing it the way Mark's doing it, but that'll work for me too. In other words, we can help one another through the process. Also, we're not in school. Ask for an example of something here today. I don't need a show of hands. You can yell something right out. Okay, it's got a paper in front with all 15 correct. Give a shout. Okay, who's got 13 in the correct order? Give a yell. Somebody have 10. Somebody have 8 in the correct order or 5. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, would I be safe in assuming that a majority of the papers fall into what I've come to call the dreaded 0 to 2 range? Yeah. You haven't already given your papers back. You're about to take a critical first step. Everybody ready? How's your memory, everyone?
Great.
Very brave under the circumstances. Now, why do I start like this? One, I want to show you where memories are at right now in a very simple way. So I'll show you how simple you can begin to improve them using a very old memory technique. In fact, the first mnemonic device you're familiar with. Secondly, though, again, addressing the whole idea of negativity. At Keller Williams, I'm always preaching to the choir. But how many of you realtors understand failure is a self-fulfilling prophecy? Understand that? Look, you talk yourself out of a job, out of a deal, out of a relationship, into a sick bed. You know what, guys? I've looked at this for over 40 years at this point. You know what I've come to discover? Very often the mechanism for our failure, listen, the words out of your own mouth, right? People speaking death to their lives. Hey, what kind of day you gonna have today? Oh, today, it's gonna be a nightmare. How's business? Bad and getting worse. Not expecting anything good anytime soon. How you feeling? Sick? But that's not unusual. This time of year, I get sick. Every single whole family gets sick this time of year. Shut up, my head's gonna explode. Are you trying to give me a heart attack? Come to think of it, the whole thing made me sick to my stomach. Look, all I'm saying is, you may want to take a day or two and actually start to listen to what you speak over yourself, over your family, over your future. Guys, you may get an earful and be absolutely appalled at the garbage that kind of spews out of your mouth on a very regular basis. Let me share this much with you. Every one of you here is a masterpiece. Look, you are unique with more to offer than you will tap into in a lifetime. Fearfully and wonderfully made. How about that? That's a truth you can walk in anytime you choose to. I'll share this much with you professionally. 30 years of doing this, I've never met a bad memory. I've yet to meet an average memory. They really just don't exist. In fact, how's your memory, everyone? List of words I just call it's just called the tree list. Does anyone know why? Yeah, it starts with the word tree. Don't overcomplicate anything here for the rest of the month. Tree list because it begins with the word tree. The tree list was designed and developed by researchers at the Institute for 3 purposes. 1, teaching a list will start to stimulate the neurotransmitters. Remember what I said, exercises, drills, games of play, asking our memories to work. Secondly, the tree list will become foundational. 15 files were later on in the memory switch program. We can demonstrate how to go back and file and process information. Thirdly, in order to teach you the tree list, I will be teaching you a mnemonic device. I said I'd start with the very first one we're familiar with. It's actually a first generation approach to memory. It's been around at least 3,000 years and we can actually document. It's called basic association. Why do I start with it? First mnemonic device, great place to start. Show you what the properties of a mnemonic device are through this process. It is also, however, the second step on the re-education trail. First, good memory is not magic, everyone. You see a good memory, it's trained. Secondly, by the time we're done with this exercise, Also need you to begin to at least kind of understand that memory is not necessarily association. Now, I know what you're thinking, right? Well, how do you remember our names, right? You associate with something. Or the 15 words we call out to you. What did you associate the words with? I didn't. Just so you understand, when I memorized your names and the words, I wasn't associating. Now, I'm going to show you how the technique works. I'm going to show you why it works. But in the process, I'm going to point out some of its limitations and drawbacks. In other words, where I needed to begin making changes in memory switch to get around some of its inherent problems. So stimulated neurotransmitters, 15 files, and an understanding of basic association, what it is, what it isn't, where it can and can't be used. Have you noticed I speak kind of quickly? It's only going to get worse, guys. Going to go all New Jersey on you. Don't have a whole lot of time. I got to let my daughter's dogs out. But let me qualify by saying, not only will I be going fast here this morning, I'm going to go stupid fast. How fast? Stupid fast. No, it's with a capital S. How fast? Stupid fast. Stupid fast. Way faster than I normally go on my live training. Obviously, my home study course, that's designed to take at your own pace. Today, I'm going to be going stupid fast. Maria assures me you guys can handle it. I think it's probably the case. But take 1 second, turn to the person next to you and say, buckle up, booby. Go ahead. Yes. Pens and pencils down, down, down. You're about to ask your memories to work, everyone. Number 1 on the tree list is represented by the picture of a tree because the trunk of a tree looks like what number? 1. The main strength behind basic association as a technique, as a mnemonic, is this. When you can design it to work, it can be extremely effective. In other words, researchers at the Institute said, hey, what do you want to use for the number 1? How about a tree? The trunk of a tree looks like a number 1. Everyone agreed, shook hands, popped champagne, went home. It was a great day at the Institute. The drawback is it will only work in isolated instances. For instance, number 1 on a list of words you gave me was birds. One doesn't work for birds, right? Or for cat, or for sky, or for car. I don't think number 1 would have worked for a single one of the 15 words you gave me. But it works. Yeah, would have worked for asparagus. But asparagus wasn't 1 on my list. Asparagus was 12 on my list. Works when it's designed to work. From now, when I say, yeah, you can check that. Yeah. But from now, when I say 1, I need you to say tree. What's number 1? Tree. If I say tree, I need you to say 1. What was tree? 1. So I say 1, you say tree. And what are you all seeing in your head right now? Tree. You know why? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the language of your memory is pictures. Coin of the realm when it comes to your brain. What does it look like? And it doesn't matter what your brain is handed. The first thing it will attempt to do is turn it into something it can see. I say 1, you say tree, and you see a tree. I say, don't think of purple elephants. What's dancing through every head in the room right now? If I say love, what pops in your head? Heart, face of a loved one. But here's the point. Love is an abstract, isn't it? Yeah, but your brain doesn't care. Your brain wants a picture. Here's the good news. If you remember things that you see, and you do, don't you? I can teach you how to see the things you want to remember, and you can. What's number 1, everyone? Tree. You've mastered the entire technology. I want you to give me a bunch of reasons why, Ed, that number 2 is represented by the words light switch. You can give me some reasons why. 2 words, 2 syllables, on and off by turning it up or down, which would make it get light or dark. 2 words, 2 syllables, up, down, on, off, light, dark, night, day, positive, negative, open, close. All reasons why the number 2 is represented by what words? Light switch. Now, some of you called an association out to me. Robert, Kirsten, good news. Your memory work is over at this point. One thing I hit on very heavily with memory switch is a real simple fact. When you create or invent something, in other words, when you come up with an idea, when you have the light bulb aha moment, know what I'm talking about? Very little memory work necessary. It turns out if you create something, you tend to automatically know it. In fact, turn to the person next to you and say, if you create it, you'll know it. Go ahead. Yeah, a little more emphatic, please. Yeah. See, critical to memory switch in its formation was this little profundity. Think about this. Most times when you have trouble memorizing stuff, it's because you don't like the stuff, right? Someone's walking up saying, Melissa, here you go. Melissa's going, oh, shoot, not that stuff. I hate that stuff. I am so good with this stuff, and I'm great with that stuff. This stuff is an issue for me. Is there an answer for this? Is there an antidote? What if you could translate the information? In other words, I don't deal well with this stuff, especially in this form. Can I put it in a format more palatable for my own personal skills? Well, it turns out with a little bit of training, absolutely. So suddenly it doesn't matter if it's names or numbers, statistics or listing information. If I could take this information and put it in this format, I can memorize it all day long. Close your eyes. 2 words, 2 syllables, up, down, on, off, light, dark, night, day, positive, negative. Pick the one that works best for you. What's number 2, everyone? Light switch. Number 3 is stool. How come? 3-legged stool. So what's 3, everyone? Stool. 4 is car. How come? 4 wheels or 4 doors. So what's 4, everyone? Car. 5 is glove. How come? 5 fingers. Now 5 doesn't work for mitten, right? That's a problem with basic association, but it works great for gloves. So 5 fingers what? Glove. And 4 wheels what? Car. And 3 was? Stool. 2 was? Light switch. What's number 1? Tree. How's your memory, everyone? Great. Now notice what this technology is totally dependent on. Logic, it has to be logical. 5 fingers glove, 4 wheels car. The problem with logic is twofold. If it has to be logical, you're limited. It's a limiting factor. 2, I discovered I used a great effective memory switch. Consider this. What makes a bigger impact on your memory? Normal, everyday, mundane things, or totally illogical, off the wall things? Off the wall. Look, see a minivan today? Yeah. When? Well, before. Where? Down there. You saw 10,000 minivans today. But if I say, hey, did you see a polka dotted minivan with a bad muffler, belching smoke, dragging Jay Leonard down 22 at East? I mean, you did it, you didn't. Am I right? Basic association says got to be logical in order for it to work. Memory switch is going to tell you you can avoid logic. It limits you, and it's not as memorable. 5 fingers what? Glove. 6 is gun. How come? 6 shooter, 6 guns, 6-inch barrel, 6 cylinders. What if you get shot with a gun? 6 feet under. Come on, guys, let's go. 6 shooter, 6 guns, 6 feet under. What's number 6, everyone? Gun. Number 6, gun. 7 is dice. How come? Lucky 7. 7, 11. If you throw 2 dice, the number that comes up most often in combination is the number 7. So what's number 7, everyone? Dice. Now, some of you have the, I don't know, a thing about dice look on your face, which means you really just hit the brick wall of this technology. The obvious problem with this technique is if you are unfamiliar with the material, polypeptidyltrilene, you ain't going to be doing any associating. Now, the reality is all of you may come across 1 or 2 words on a list where this will be an issue. Not your problem. It's a problem with the technique. But because it is necessary to get the list down, we will now utilize the oldest memory technique known to man. I call it burn it into your brain. Close your eyes. What's number 7? Number 7. Number 7. 7 was dice, and dice was 7. Good. Now 8 is skate. How come? 8 wheels, roller skaters. Yeah, figure 8, ice skaters, and they do rhyme. Now, is rhyming a good way to remember things? Not particularly. No, sorry, Melissa. Yeah. No, it's a big alphabet. 8, skate, bait, date, trait, mate, fate. I get people, oh, man, I got a technique for names. I just rhyme them, right? Al's my pal. What's a slob? What does that do? You're going to get an hour later or a week later. Figure 8 and 8 wheels are better associations for 8. What word? Skate. So what's 8, everyone? Skate. 8, skate. 9 is cat. How come? 9 lives. How many lives do cats get? 9. So 9 lives what? Cat. What was number 8? Skate. Number 7. Dice. 6 was? Gun. How about 5? Glove. What was 4? Car. 3 was? Stool. Anybody know 2? Light switch. What's number 1? Tree. How's your memory, everyone? Great. Incidentally, this list will haunt you for the rest of your lives. Yeah, you're left with now. You wear the wee hours of tomorrow morning. Okay, 9 lives what? Cat. 10 is bowling ball. How come? 10 pins, 10 frames, 10 pounds. I had a woman in Denver said 10 fingers, not a bowler. Put your pen down. I'm looking right at you. I am looking right at you. Oh, you're not going to be a problem, child. Are you, Kirsten? Come on. Okay. Yeah. 10 pins, 10 frames, 10 pounds. You have 10 fingers, not a bowler, obviously. So what's number 10, everyone? Bowling ball. What's number 10? Bowling ball. And I bet you're all seeing what? A bowling ball. Yeah. 11 is goalpost. How come? Looks like a number 11. Tree looks like a 1. Goalpost looks like a number 11. So what's 11, everyone? Goalpost. 12 is eggs. How come? Yeah, 12 does an egg. So what's 12, everyone? Eggs. And what's 11? Goalpost number 10. Bowling ball number 1. Tree number 5. Glove 3 was. Stool. Dice was. 7. What was number 8, everyone? Skate. Skate. How's your memory, everyone? Great. 13 is witch. 13 is witch. How come? Unlucky. Friday the 3rd. Good. Glad I'm here in Stroudsburg. I do this 30 years. I go all over the country. I say 13's witch. Hey, yeah, unlucky. Friday the 13th. All of a sudden, I'm like, 13's witch. How come? Oven. Well, let me give you the skinny on this, okay? Apparently, witches get together and they form these groups. So 13 witches make what's called a witch's coven. Kind of scare you that people know this stuff all of a sudden? Okay. So unlucky Friday 13th, they're coven. What's 13, everyone? Witch. Number 13, witch. 14 is ring. Ring. How come? There we go. Kirsten making the mental. There you go. You've redeemed yourself. 14 karat gold ring. 14 karat gold what? Ring. 14 karat gold ring. Or some people say February 14th, right? Valentine's Day, you get a ring, you don't life in a big city. 14 karat gold what? Ring. Now, some of you are thinking, that's not the best association. And actually, it's not. What's the shortest distance between 2 points, realtors? Straight line. 5 fingers glove. 4 wheels car. More effective associations than 14 karat gold ring. But again, what's it showing you? That with this technique, even when you apply it, it can get cumbersome. Look, don't get me wrong, and don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying basic association is a bad technique. In fact, in my memory switch program, I'm using basic association quite a bit. Develop libraries, develop file systems. Here's the thing. There are times in certain types of material where basic association will make you very effective. It's a great technique to use. 14 karat gold what? Ring. What's 14, everyone? Ring. 15 is paycheck. How come? How many get paid that way? Not a one of you. Great. Okay, good. So if you got a paycheck on the 15, 15 paycheck would be a good association, right? 15. I got a bad association for you. April 15th, the federal government seems to want more and more of your paycheck. So 15th of the month, you may get a paycheck. April 15th, they definitely want a chunk out of your paycheck. So what's 15? 15, paycheck, and 14, ring, and 13, witch and bowling ball, 10 and gun, 6 and 1, 3 and 2, light switch. How's your memory, everyone? Great. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to drill the list. Here's how I want you to do it. Number down a page from 1 to 15. Just numbers. Don't write any words down. Just numbers. Number down the page. Some of you may have a nice virgin list from the first time around. That's just fine. Now, here's how you're going to work. You're going to work with a partner. If 3 is a better grouping for you, that's just fine. Here's how you do it. One of you will say, hey, partner, what was number 10? What was 10, everyone? Bowling ball. How come? Yeah. Now, it doesn't matter who asked who. All that matters is if you were looking at your partner saying, we do know the number 10, don't we? Yes, we do. Cross the number 10 off your list. Don't write the word down. What was number 12, partner? Eggs. How come? Doesn't. Cross off the number 12. What was number 3, partner? Stool. How come? 3-legged. Cross off the number 3. If your partner gets stuck on one, if you say, what was number 14? And they say, man, I'm totally blank. Don't say, well, 14 was ring. Say, try this, partner. 14 karat gold. In other words, give them the association for the word. Don't give them the word. Now, so we're crossing off numbers as we cover each one. Go ahead, get started with that, everyone. Oh, do not write any words down. What did I just say? What did I say? Who's going to write the words down? Maybe Kirsten. I don't know. Go ahead, get started with that. Cross it off. Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't check some the bias, what's your last? 6 feet under.
No, 6 shoot. I need the girls.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, just got a couple quick questions for you. A couple quick questions. What was number 15? Paycheck. What was number 14? Ring. What was number 13? Witch. What was number 10? Bowling ball. 8 was. Gate. 7 was. Dice. How's your memory, everyone? Now you have 15 numbers in front of you. Yes? Yeah. So write test B above it. And now you're on your own. You can write the tree list down. Just write them down. Yeah. Now you can write them down. Let me suggest this. Just write down the tree list. If you get stuck or even slow down, don't stop. Just right to the next one. What will happen is the minute you go by it, it's probably going to pop into your head. But when you come back to it, the question you should be asking yourself is, What was my association? That'll get you back to where you're going. Just write them down. Write them down. Yep. Getting stuck, scoot by, coming back. What was my association? That'll get you back to where you're going. Wow, slow down, huh? Anybody smell burning neurotransmitters? Now, here's the point. Is this anything you couldn't do before you came in here? Absolutely not. Yeah. Memory switch, guys. In essence, all it is a better way to use your own natural ability. I can't stress this enough. This is a skill set. This is a trainable skill. It's like swimming or riding a bike, which means what? You're actually born with the ability. Someone needs to show you how it's done. Memories are great right now. I know. Shut up. We're concentrating. Look, we're not going to take time. We're not going to exchange papers or anything like that. But can I see a quick show? How many of you discovered you are doing significantly better on test 50? Yes. So some of you got all 15 correct. Some of you missed a couple. Let me talk to you about the ones that you missed. First off, not only did I say I'd be going fast here this morning, how fast did I say I would go? Stupid fast. Look, the reality is this. I gave you the words way too quickly. I trained you too quickly. Gave you about 3 minutes to drill it. Gave you about 60 seconds to physically write them down. Here's the point. With another minute, probably as I'm speaking, you're going to run across the one or two you're having a problem with. The one or two you're having a problem with, generally for one of two reasons. One, it wasn't a good association for you in the first place. You don't bowl. You've never bowled. You don't care if you ever bowl. Tennis bowling ball is just a difficult association for you to make. The other thing you might have noticed is, and I know some of you did when you were drilling the list, is you got stuck on an easy one. Why do we get stuck on the easy ones?
We don't focus.
Focus. 5 is glove. Yep. 9 is cat. You bet. 12 is eggs. What else would it be? Yeah. You did everything in the world except what? Focus on the material. I said it earlier. Let me reiterate. Most of what you think you're forgetting day in and day out, you never tried to remember in the first. Oh, that's easy. I'll remember that. Please quit bugging me. What do you think? Stupid. I can't forget that. In fact, one property of a mnemonic device, even one as simple as basic association, is I'll have you notice this. Applying this technology to the 15 words actually force you to do what? Focus on the words. You had to. You know why? Because you were doing something with the words. In the case of basic association, you know what we're doing? Making things bigger. 4 wheels, 4 doors, 4-speed car, 10 pins, 10 frames, 10 pounds bowling ball. One property of a mnemonic device is if you are trained in applying a technology, you will actually force yourself to stay focused on the material, even if you don't like it, even if it's boring, even if it's dry. Why is that important? Guys, I mentioned every industry at every level, and yet pretty much across the board, one of the majority of the time I get an answer when I ask people about their memory, something like this. You know what, Matt? I got to tell you, I think my memory's decent, but I got a cell phone in this ear. I still have a landline ringing on my desk. I have something or something's open and I am interrupted all day long. I really have trouble focusing. Or I'll talk to a student. They'll say, you know what, Matt? If you hand me a science book, you can go away 3 hours later. It'll just blow by. You hand me a history book, within 10 minutes, I might as well be at the park. I just can't stay focused on that material. What's the answer here? Trained memory, actively applying a technique, forcing you to stay focused on the material. Now, I hope the exciting thing about the list of people in this room, well done, Kirsten, is what all my stupid explanations and stories only took you guys 7 minutes to commit the list of words to your memory. Point is, you walk in here this morning, I say you're here for the memory training, good. There's a tree list, it's 15 words. I'm going to give you about 7 minutes. I need you to know them forwards, backwards, and in and out of order. What would you have said? Oh man, I got an inspection right back. Okay, yeah. And I know from experience, I could have said, here, take 10 minutes, take 20, take the first half hour. Test B still would have been a fairly dismal affair. Why did this work? 1, stimulated neurotransmitters. 2, a technology designed for this exercise. But 3, congratulations, KW, a willingness on your part to try something new. Guys, I'm in the personal improvement industry for 30 years. Fundamental to personal improvement is a willingness to try something new. Oh, you're realtors, right? So you all understand the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and what? Expecting a different result. And yet, that's exactly what you've done to your memory your entire life. I'm going to a big open house tomorrow. Got to meet a lot of potential clients. I have to remember the names. Okay, what are you going to do different tomorrow that you didn't do today? So I'm going back to school. I want to pass these. I want to get my broker's license. Good. How are you going to study this time so that when you walk into the room, you actually know the information's there, right? You're not just hoping. In fact, what you experienced here this morning is what we call the training balance. Skills training always involves a balance. First half of the balance is motivation. That's easy. How many people here want to remember? If that's all it took, I would be out of a job, wouldn't I? Right? If I had to do to remember is want to, everybody would. What you experienced here today is the other half of the balance. See, you want to remember those 15 words, right? What made it work? Technique. I want to shake hands, remember names. How am I going to? I want to do my presentations without notes. I want to go back to school. I want to learn new language. I want to be better in my profession. That's great. That's motivation. It's where you start. Fruit and balance is what's the plan? What am I going to do to make that happen? Now, the topic of memory is fraught. There could not be more bad information. This misunderstanding about memory and aging and nutrition and kids and schools and who's got some questions about memory as a topic, what we've done here today, or even observations about your own memory? Who's got a question? Yes, Robert.
That microphone for,
Is very effective, but how do you apply that to remembering a first name?
Yeah, exactly. Here's the thing. You wouldn't use this technology to remember names. It's not the best one to use. When I was memorizing your names, remember what I told you? I wasn't associating because there really is no association between a person. You know what the problem was with names? It's a couple things. One, when you're meeting a person for the first time, at least at a level, there's some stress involved, right? A lot of people, just the very act of saying, hi, my name is, stresses people out. Stress wreaks havoc with your memory. But the biggest problem from a memory standpoint when it comes to names is names are abstract, total abstract, right? His name's Robert. He's not Robert because he looks like a Robert. Wouldn't that make life easier though, right? Hey, everybody, here comes a Robert. Okay, so you need three things to remember anything, and this you can put down. This is, you want memory switch, you want memory done right, you need three things to remember anything. A piece of information turned into a mental picture. Your brain's doing it already. All I show you with memory switch is how to use it to effect. A place to store the information. I've been calling them mental files. When you're done with memory switch, incidentally, you'll have about 250 files where you can store and access information. If you need 2,000 or 200,000, I can show you how to develop it. It takes no time at all, right? Most people though, you go through the program, you're going to find about 50 files that you really like, and you just use them over and over again, right? Third thing you need to remember anything is a way to keep the information where you put it. That deals with long-term and short-term. This is a lot of the new neuroscience, the stuff the old experts didn't understand. Not only do I need to put it somewhere, how am I going to keep it there, right? So piece of information turned into a mental picture, a place to put it, and a way to keep it there. When it comes to names, guys, I shared two things with you earlier. Focus and repeat. Focus and repeat. If that's all you do, you should be able to handle 12, 15, 20 names, really no problem. What I'm showing you going forward is now that I have the name, where can I put it so I can go back and get it when I need it? Who do I need to recall and how long do I need to recall them, right? That's what that is all about. Good question. Who's got another question about, yeah, Natalia.
hold on, let me get to Natalia because I have to do this little thing.
What does your mental filing system look like if you could describe it?
Yeah, guys, mental file is really simple. It's areas of your knowledge bank. It's information that's already there that you can put together in a logical order. You guys have 15 files already. What's number 1? Tree. Number 5, love. Number 3, stool, paycheck. 15, ring. 14, 7, dice. See, going forward, you know what the tree list becomes for you? 15 areas of your brain that you can access forwards, backwards, in and out of order by number or by word. I developed a technology I called VIA. You got 15 things to pick up at the grocery store, 15 points you want to remember in a presentation, right? 15 pieces of information that a client just shared with you. I can show you how to store that information so you can go back and get it. You know, it sounds mystical and magical, but it's not. Guys, this is not rocket science. What you did here this morning, it doesn't get more difficult than this. Memory switch, I work with kids as young as 7 and adults into their 90s. This is not rocket science. It's just a better way to use your own natural ability. Good question. Who's got another question?
I do. Oh, Tobias, let's get Tobias first. Hold on a second.
6 to save my life. I got it. I confused 5 with 6, but then I remember 5 was glove.
What's number 6, everyone? Gun.
Oh,
Yeah.
You did good for
Yeah.
coming in late.
Good.
I know. No, that's it.
Another question? Another question?
I wanted to make a comment because when I had Matt come out,
to my other Keller Williams office a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was before or after COVID. It was before.
At 4, I think.
It's been
maybe.
that long. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm meeting people, I'm new to the office and I'm still learning everyone's names. What I took away from a lot of his is the constant saying of the name when you're talking to them. It is huge. That's so simple, right? He said it's how many times? Like 8 when he was talking to Ed, right? And with me, that's what I've been doing because I'm meeting so many people, maybe once, then I'll see him 2 months later. So I got to get it in my head. So if anything, that is a great tool. Just repeat, repeat, repeat.
Yeah, you get no.
I use it all the time.
You let the person hear the sound of their own name. It really is good. But again, guys, going forward, now I have the name. What do I want to do with it? This is the person I'm never going to see again? The reality of my business is I meet a lot of people and shake a lot of hands. I'm not trying to remember everyone forever. That's silly, right?
Right.
I just got back from Denver. I had 130 account executives at Empower. They're a big retirement firm or something. I met them. I remember the names.
You remembered all of them in the room like
I
you
only
did
got a
today?
chance to meet about 100. But
That's
you
amazing.
know what? There's a wow factor when you're doing that many names, incidentally.
It's amazing.
But forget that. Imagine yourself, 20 people all getting to know each other the first time. New work situation, new group of clients, organization you want to become a member, party attending, open house. Walk in and shake 20 hands. 10 minutes later, using everybody's name. An hour later on the way out, watch how people say goodbye. See ya. Bye-bye. Hey, nice to have met you.
Yeah.
You know what that means? They don't know anybody. But Robert, pleasure to meet you. Mark, see you again soon. You know what, Jim? It really was a pleasure. Who's the one person in that room they'll remember? You, because you showed a genuine interest, concern. You remembered, you gave them the sweetest sound to their ear, their own name. But more importantly, you know what you just did, realtors? Obligated 20 people to remember you by doing what? Remember them first. You guys are in business, man. In business, we're having people know who you are, what you do. You're in real estate. You don't have jobs. You have jobs, right? Your own business.
Yeah.
In business, we're having people know who you are, what you do for a living is important. Referrals and first impressions are critical. If that's the one skill you develop, that'll make you more successful. That'll make you better. I had 15 files where I stored the information. You guys gave me those 15 words in the beginning of class. I already knew where I was going to store them because the only thing I store on that file is when I do that demonstration. The only other thing I had to decide was how long do I need to keep them there? The decision I made today is as long as I'm here in the room, I remember the list, right? So I still know number 14 was business and number 15 was storm and number 3 was sky and 4 was car and 8 was Keller Williams. Yeah, they're there as long
Pretty
as I need
amazing.
them.
Pretty amazing.
Now here's the point. Do you want me to remember for a year?
No.
Make it worth my while. But here's what you need to understand. Listen to me. That's not good or bad. That's trained or untrained, right? Guys, let me finish with this. I do live training. I have for years. I've been blessed. I've shared a stage with some really great speakers. I realized a while back, I can only be in so many places in front of so many people. Developed a home study version of the course I teach. It's called the Memory Switch. This is what you've seen on TV, maybe heard on the radio. 10 hours of material, 17, 20 to 30-minute lessons. Tony, it's short and sweet. I tell you what, we'll finish with this. I want you to write this down. Guys, I've shared a stage with Zig Ziglar, rest his soul. I work with Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Brian Tracy, Tommy Hopkins, maybe some people you're familiar with. Wonderful, motivational for the most part, which means they really can't guarantee results. I'm doing skills training. 5 outcomes. I want you to write if you go through this program, 5 outcomes that you will see happen for you. And I've done this for 30 years. First, 300% increase in recall capability forever. You won't lose that. Does 300 sound like a lot? You saw what you did in 7 minutes. 300 is very safe. Put a slash mark next to that, write 4 to 700%. That's what kids will experience. I mentioned kids as young as 7. Here's my pet peeve with kids. To get A's on tests and good grades in school, your child needs one skill. What is it? Memory. We're all friends here. Even if your little baby's kind of a moron, I'm just saying. If they can recall answers for test questions, guess what? Your little moron's getting an A, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's the one skill they need. They're not taught.
Yeah.
My daughter Jeanette used to teach 4th grade. She taught her students 2 things they don't. She used Memory Switch, taught them how to study and recall answers for tests. Duh. And she taught them how to read properly. They don't teach memory at all and do a crappy job teaching reading. Upside was her students are tops in the district every year and they love school. Second thing I want you to write down is 25 words. I did the demonstration with the 15 words. Kirsten, you got a kick out of that? What I'm sharing with you is about lesson 4. What I did with 15 words, you will be able to do it 25, 30, 40, 50 bits of information or more. Hear them once, give them back forwards, backwards, and in and out of order. Yes, Jim, you can win bets with that particular skill. Thirdly, presentations without notes. Guys, How hard do you work to sit in front of buyers or sellers, present yourself and your services, and realize as they're walking away, what's the first thing you're thinking? Shoot, forgot to tell them that. I can't believe I left that out. God, Maria and I discussed that this morning. Why didn't I bring it up? Can I get them on the phone? No. Hour later, day later, week later, you have to tell them on the phone what you